I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice.
That's right. You remember Allen Iverson back in the day talking about practice. We're just talking about practice. But yeah, AI, one of my favorite players of all time. He said what he had to say, and I ain't got nothing wrong with that. But yes, welcome to Respect the Court. I am your host, Otto, and today, as you could imagine, we're talking about practice. Actually, we're going to do more than just talk about practice. We're going to talk about practice versus training. And it's something I thought about this entire summer, right? Of my kid, he went to summer camp this past summer, obviously, and they were talking about doing drills and practice, lots of practice and training. And I asked him, you guys doing any kind of training? He's like, no. I'm like, huh, okay, right. He's like, we just practice. I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's just summer league, whatever. And then, of course, you had the Olympics. You had the U.S. basketball team, men and women. They were talking about practice and training. But, when you actually look at it, even all the way up to now with training camp, preseason, yeah, there really is a big difference between training versus practice. And the two seem to be intertwined all the time. And they shouldn't be, because they're two different activities, two different thoughts of attacking the game and preparing yourself for the game of basketball. So I decided to go back, look up some definitions, and really hone in as to why it's important to distinguish the two, training versus practice. And so, I mean, of course, you can go to the dictionary, you can go on the internet and look for things on training and practice. But I went to roadsports.com, and they kind of broke down nicely the difference between training and practice. So let me go ahead and throw out what they determine as practice. And hopefully you'll agree with me. If not, hey, it's your prerogative. But practice is defined as repeated exercise in or performance of an activity or skill so as to acquire or maintain proficiency in it. So what are we getting from that? Well, key terms, right? There's proficiency and maintain. The whole goal of practice is to reach a level of proficiency, right? To reach a level of, okay, I can do this now without even thinking about it. Hence the terms that you hear all the time about muscle memory. Like, I can do a certain movement, I can do a certain drill, and I don't have to think about it. Because why? I've done it so many times, and I've maintained a level of proficiency of it. I'm able to maintain a high level of accuracy because I've practiced this shot, or I've practiced this triple threat move, or I have practiced this this drop step or whatever hundreds of times. Like, you don't even think about it. The ball comes to you, you know what to do, boom, boom, that's it. Or you come off the screen, you curl off, don't even think about it, shoot the mid-range shot. So yeah, this is something that you just do over and over and over and over again. But the funny thing about it, when you look at Road Sports, they say that if you're talking about this at the Olympic level, right? Olympians are not supposed to be proficient. They're not trying to maintain a certain level, right? They're trying to maximize and break limits. They're trying to see what they can do at the best and highest levels. Like, they're trying to challenge themselves over and over and over and over and over again. You don't do that in practice. You're not challenging yourself in practice. Practice, you're just going through the motions. That's all you're doing. You're just going through the motions, making sure that you just get the motion right. That's it. So if I'm training somebody with free throw, sorry, I said training. If I'm practicing free throws, I'm just learning first what kind of motion I want. And then I practice that motion over and over and over and over again until I get it down the way I'm supposed to. Like, I reach a level of proficiency. Like, oh, okay, I get it now. That's how it's supposed to be, right? Like, if I'm throwing darts, my goal is to practice hitting the bullseye, right? So I throw the bullseye a specific way over and over and over and over again until I am sure I can hit the bullseye at least 48 out of 50 times, because I've practiced that motion that much. It's repetitive. It's monotonous. That's practice. And I can see why for some people practice just doesn't do much for them, because at some point we've done this dozens of times. We've done this hundreds of times. I've put in what I've put in. I know what we're supposed to do. Like, I don't even have to think about it anymore. I know the spots I need to get to. I know the angles I need to attack. We're good. So I'm cool with practice. Now, training, which is something I feel younger athletes need to put more emphasis on with training. So rosesports.com goes with training as defined in this way. Training is the act, process, or method of one that seeks to improve skill, knowledge, or experience in a certain area. So when you hear that, that sounds much more direct. That sounds much more active. With practice, that seemed very passive, right? Just do it over and over and over again and you're good. Training is like, no, I want to do a specific set of skills in this certain way because I know if I do it this way, I'm going to get better at it. Or if I do it in this manner, I'm going to get better at it. Okay, so what do you mean? Here's an example. I said earlier with free throws, right? I could just stand there, just shoot 100 free throws. That's practice. But let's say I run 10 suicides. I'm dog tired. So now I'm training myself to shoot free throws when I am extremely tired. Why is that important? Well, most times when you get to a really close game, a very critical game, you're tired. You're losing your legs. And you need to be able to make free throws under extreme duress. Whether you're tired, whether you're achy, whether the crowd is on you if you're at an away game, that's the difference. That's training. You're working on your attitude. You're working on situational shooting. So when you do that kind of training, your mind is improving. Your ability to shoot free throws in any environment improves. And so now, not only do you have the muscle memory from practice, you also have the mental fortitude, and you've challenged yourself in different environments to shoot free throws anywhere, anytime, under any condition. So that's one example. We can even look at layups, right? Layups, same thing. I can do simple layup, right hand, left hand. And let's say my coach says, all right, you're going to practice 50 layups each hand. Cool, no problem. That's regular practice. Now with training, well, hey, we're going to train today with layups, but instead I'm going to have 3 guys with foam rubbers hit you as you're going to perform your layup. Why is that important? Because anywhere you play basketball, you're going to get hit. You're going to get bumped. So now you are training yourself. You're improving the skill that you've already become proficient in by now maybe you cup the ball better as you're going towards the basket. Maybe you work on different angles. You've experienced regular layups left and right, but now you can say, oh, okay, now here's a big man. Maybe I'll position a 7-footer in front of you. So now you can't just lay it up as easily as you did before when it was just practice. Now you have to look at ways to train yourself. How do I make this layup now with a 7-footer in front of me? How do I make this layup now with 3 people hitting me on the way to the basket? Maybe now, instead of just a regular basic layup, maybe now I can start training on my Euro step. Maybe now I can start training on different type of footwork to use as I'm attacking the basket going for a layup. So that's it right there when it comes to training, right? It's deliberate. It is active. You're seeking to improve and develop in their respective principle. That's all that is. So the great thing about training is you know what needs to be improved on. So you adjust, right? And whatever you adjust to, that's when you go back and train some more and see what needs to happen. So that's what I like about that. And I really think, younger athletes need to emphasize on training, not just practice. Another thing I'd like to take away from the Rose.com article that I saw was top level athletes, when you think about it, they don't practice, right? Like in the NBA, when they're talking about getting deep into the playoffs, they're no longer practicing anymore. Because why? You don't need to practice. You've gone through these motions all year. You know what to do. You know where to be. You know what to expect. So at this point, you just need to make sure that you're mentally ready. Training prepares you to be mentally ready. Training gets you into the right frame of reference. Training gets you into the right attitude to go out there and perform at the highest level possible. So it's all good. I'm loving it. Understanding the difference between training and practice. So yeah, I would tell a young kid right now, yeah, don't practice. Don't practice in the sense of like, yeah, I mean, go to practice and practice what you need to do to be proficient. But instead, real growth and development is found through change and adaptation. You only change and adapt when you do different types of training drills that forces you to be better. You don't want to be stuck in the same routine over and over. The same routine, it doesn't get you better, right? Standing at the free throw line shooting 100 shots. I mean, that's cool, but that doesn't really improve your mentality for shooting free throws when it's late in the game or when you're tired or when you're a little hurt. So, yeah, all your youngsters out there, train, all right? Find a good trainer. Find someone who's going to challenge you. Find someone who's going to take you to the next level by making you uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable, then that means you're doing the best thing possible for your development in the game. That's it. That's all I want to talk about, training versus practice. So we'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.